the year is 2019, and people are still wanting the Snyder Cut to be released. So, my stance on the whole Snyder Cut situation and releasing it and all that jazz is I would like to see it, but I don't think it's ever going to get released. So, first of all, I want to see it because I thought that Justice League was just this bizarre Frankenstein's monster of a movie where you could obviously see both Whedon and Snyder's fingerprints on it. You could obviously tell just the corporate mandates that were that were imposed on it. It's just it's not a good situation with that movie, right? So, and like, say what you will about Batman v Superman or Man of Steel. I personally like Man of Steel. Didn't really like Batman v Superman, but I can at least appreciate that. Hey, those movies, they were Zack Snyder's vision. Whether or not you like that vision, fine, it's up to you. But at least they were his vision. They were his movies. So that's what I like to see out of movies. I want to see a movie that feels like someone's movie, and not just this corporate thing, this corporate entity, just purely meant to satisfy audiences. And obviously that's what they are, but at least trick us a bit. Um, so right, so there's that. I would personally like to see the Snyder Cut. However, I do not think it's ever going to happen. And my main reason for that is I don't think that a Snyder Cut really exists. At least not in the way that people seem to think it exists. Like, there is not a cut of Justice League that Zack Snyder, cut himself, or I don't know, whatever, his editor. You know what I'm saying. There is not like a finished, ready to release Snyder Cut just sitting on a hard drive at Warner Brothers somewhere. There is a Snyder Cut, probably multiple Snyder Cuts. But there's still a ton of work that would have to be on them. I think Kevin Smith has talked about this, and if you just look at his exit, he left tragically. He left the production because his daughter passed away, and he just kind of he had to leave in the middle of that, or because of that. In the middle of the production of the movie. So obviously there's still a ton of work that's going to have to be done on it. Probably a ton of unfinished CGI, maybe even some other, shots that they would have had to do. I'm not sure. But I just don't think that there is this finished version of the movie. And if Warner Brothers ever did want to release the Snyder Cut, they would have to go back and finish it, and that's going to cost like probably millions of dollars, and I just don't know that it would really be worth it to them. Like, Justice League already was a financial disappointment, so are there really going to be enough Snyder fans or people who really want to see this movie to justify spending that kind of money? I just don't really think there would be. They're very loud on Twitter, but I don't know that that's going to be enough to justify spending all that money on it. So obviously, as I mentioned, there isn't really a Snyder Cut that they can just put out, and it's going to cost them a ton of money to actually finish it. But another reason why I don't think that they're going to do this is because I just think Warner Brothers wants to get away from that era of the DCEU. The era of Snyder, the era of Suicide Squad. Although Wonder Woman was pretty good, but pretty much everything else was either a box office disappointment or a critical failure. Just putting out enough bad films is eventually going to lead to fans just deciding they don't want to support your movies anymore, and we saw that with Justice League. So, and we've seen, to be fair, we've seen Warner Brothers really come back since then. After Justice League, they basically took a year-long break and then released Aquaman, and say what you will about Aquaman, I didn't really like it all that much. It was fine, it was fun, it was whatever, but it made $1 billion. $1 billion, right? So and then after Aquaman, then they came out with Shazam, which wasn't a crazy success. I think it made something like 600 mil as well, but I don't think it cost nearly as much as Justice League, or it obviously wouldn't have cost nearly as much as Justice League. So it wasn't a runaway success, but it was a critical, or it definitely was a critical success. So I would chalk that up to the win category. And then obviously recently they came out with Joker, which was a resounding critical success, or actually probably not like from critics, but because of all the whatever the I don't want I don't want to get into that, but you cannot deny its financial success. The movie just crossed the $1 billion mark, which is insane, obviously, and so Warner Brothers, they're kind of on the up and up. Who knows? That Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, whatever, and the harmonious emancipation of one Harley, whatever that movie's called, that looks awful. That might set them back, but who knows? Maybe it'll be amazing. So that might, but as of right now, Warner Brothers, they are rebuilding their brand. So why would they go back to Justice League and remind everybody of of that time, of that era of DC, when they are doing such a good job of rebuilding their brand? I just don't see why it would make sense for them to go back to Justice League. Yeah, I don't want to burst people's bubbles, but I just don't think it's feasible that we're gonna get a Snyder cut of Justice League at any point, really. Now, here's the thing that happened recently that kind of started changing my mind on this and kind of inspired me to make this video. We've seen Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot come out and tweet #release the Snyder Cut. Now, this gives me pause, and this kind of makes me wonder. So, why would they come out and tweet this out? This is very weird. So obviously we have Ben Affleck, who you could tell if you've seen Justice League, the guy clearly didn't want to be there. He was not in a great place in his life. He kind of just wanted to be done with Batman. You could just tell by watching Justice League, and like, why would you be coming back and calling for the Snyder Cut to be released? And especially, why would Gal Gadot be calling for the Snyder Cut to be released when she is very much in the palms of Warner Brothers at the moment? She has Wonder Woman 84 coming out. So why would you be jumping on this train? It's obviously, it's just very weird that they would come out and call for the Snyder Cut to be released, unless maybe Warner Brothers actually is moving forward with wanting to release the Snyder Cut, and maybe this is just like a coordinated effort. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it's very weird. And that's obviously a really far-fetched theory, but there's also the possibility that maybe they are just pretty loyal to Zack Snyder. We've seen actors, not necessarily turn on the companies that they work for, but stand behind their directors before. Like, we've seen the situation with James Gunn, if you remember, when he was canceled, and he was fired from Guardians of the Galaxy 3. We saw, the entire cast come together and be like, hey, bruh, we like James Gunn. He's changed, give him his job back. So, it's not like we haven't seen something like this before, and obviously this situation isn't nearly as serious as the James Gunn situation. So they're not really, like, going against their company. But it's I don't know. I just don't. Yeah, this is the cog in the wheel that kind of makes me wonder and makes me doubt, and just makes me think that maybe something is happening. I've seen people suggest that obviously Warner Brothers is starting their like HBO Max streaming service. Like, Maybe they might want to launch it with a Snyder Cut of Justice League. That maybe might be a possibility. I honestly, I I do not know. Yeah. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think that the Snyder Cut is ever gonna happen? Yeah, like the whole Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot, I don't know how to say her name. That whole thing, it makes me wonder that maybe there's a possibility. At the end of the day, I just don't think it's ever gonna happen for the reasons that I've laid out. I just don't think it makes much financial sense, and I think Warner Brothers has been doing a pretty good job of reviving the DC brand. And I don't know why they would want to remind people of their failures. So, who knows? What do you guys think? Do you think we're ever going to see Justice League, the Snyder Cut? Do you think it's ever going to happen? Let me know in the comments below, and bye.